Hello, and welcome to the LiftKit Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, John Hoeft, founder of LiftKit Marketing, a consultancy that helps agencies and marketers scale their digital advertising and growth strategies. Today's guest is someone I'm really excited to introduce, Michael McBride, the founder and CEO of Atelier Commerce, a full-service digital commerce agency based in New York. Michael's been in the marketing and e-commerce space for nearly 2 decades, leading teams across strategy, design, development, and growth. He's worked with some incredible brands over the years, and he's built a reputation for blending creativity, analytics, and technology into an incredibly effective digital ecosystem. In this episode, we'll talk about his journey from retail associate to agency ownership, how he's helping brands prepare for the next wave of AI-driven commerce, and what it takes to stay ahead. Michael's perspective on brand, performance, and the future of e-commerce is one you won't want to miss. Let's get into it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the LiftKit Marketing Podcast. Danielle, how you doing today?
Good.
How was your week?
Oh, it was a really good week. Got a lot done. It's busy. How about for you?
Yeah, same thing. A lot of good networking meetings. I got a couple big deals in the pipeline that I'm excited about, but there was also some interesting things in the AI world. You know, ChatGPT rolled out a bunch of things. I think it was late last week. The stuff that I thought was really interesting is all the new connections in the apps and connections area. In fact, let me just rattle off a few. I was looking at it earlier. You can actually connect your ChatGPT account to specific applications. So the one I'm most excited about is Canva. So I can literally connect the two, and when I'm communicating within ChatGPT, I can use the @Canva, and it will connect to my Canva account, and I can tell it what image I want created. And not only will it create it within ChatGPT, but it also creates it on my Canva account. So I can go over to my Canva account and there's the same image where I can start editing and playing with it there. So that's pretty cool.
Graphic designers will be so excited to hear that.
Right. Looking at some of the other ones, Expedia, Spotify. So yeah, with the Spotify one, I can actually tell a ChatGPT to create a playlist based on a certain song or an artist.
Or podcast.
What was that?
Or podcasts. Like you could
Right.
say
Yeah.
what great marketing podcasts are there.
Find me a bunch of podcasts. Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty cool. And then it shows up in your Spotify account, just automatically.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Zillow was another connection. Your Dropbox, if you want to connect your Dropbox to ChatGPT. And then obviously, I think the Gmail and the Google Calendar and the Google Drive connections have always been there, but some of the newer ones, HubSpot, Notion, and then for all you Microsoft fans out there, I don't know very many, but there is Outlook Calendar, Outlook Email, SharePoint, Teams. You know, I try to avoid those people as much as possible.
But I've actually heard of one, John. So you can also, the big news in e-commerce world is that you will be able to shop directly in ChatGPT because there's another connection that's happening soon. It's in beta right now, but ChatGPT and Shopify. So that's really setting aside brands who are on Shopify. And another part of this, though, is that you're going to have to make sure that you're ready for that integration. So I'm actually really excited because the guest that we have today knows a lot about that. And I'm excited for you to meet him.
Fantastic. You've piqued my interest. Let's go.
Okay. Well, our next guest is Michael McBride. He's the founder and CEO of Atelier Commerce, which happens to be where I work. So I'm really excited because I've been working with Michael for almost a year now, and we have been doing some really great work, but it's all because of his vision and what he's doing. So he's an entrepreneur with digital experience. He has 15 years of experience building high-performing teams across sales, strategy, operations, marketing. With Atelier and some other agencies that he's founded in the past, he has attracted an impressive roster of clients, including Six Milano, Bulgari, Lacoste, Narciso Rodriguez, and PXG. Working with him, I can tell you that he's sees the whole picture, which is really great for an agency. In my experience, not everybody is able to do that. And he understands the creative, the analytics, and also the foundations that really helps them set apart the company with Shopify, BigCommerce, and those partners that we work with as well. So without further ado, let's meet Michael and bring him on.
Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Great. How are you too? It's nice to meet you, John.
Yeah, nice meeting you. It's our first time. I'm excited to learn more about the agency and even more about you and your journey, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, everything that comes along with it. I spent a little time on your LinkedIn profile and doing some research. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this call. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
So let's dive into it. I mean, tell us about the early days. How did you end up, on this path of marketing and agency ownership?
So early days. Oh man. So really back way back in the day, early on in my career, started working at a company that was doing order fulfillment, customer care, and a little bit more of the consulting aspect, and was tasked with creating a more contemporaneous, modern offering, which built in web design and development. From there, started to dig into what worked, what didn't, where did our clients see the most value. So from portfolio websites, brochure websites, etc., for all different types of business, I found that the right thing for me, at least, was e-commerce, and that was kind of the blend of the aesthetics, the experience, and the data and analytics. So even before that, I worked in retail at Ralph Lauren, and my vision was really to bring that in-store experience that I provided to customers at scale and benefit the brands that we work with. So it's been this kind of continual evolution of working towards that. Like, how do we do that more and more every day with data, building that relevance for each product, for each client, every aspect of it, forward into now. I've been around since Google Shopping was free, and was really, really dating myself, which,
It was free at one time.
yes. And actually, it really, kind of when I really started was 2006. So I'm coming up on 20 years now. And from everything from just design and build to managing end to end offering of every aspect of what a brand needs to be successful in this day and age. And so a lot of the technologies that we're utilizing today have all, well, most have all just unfolded in that time. So instead of having everything hit me all at once, I was able to see the trend and the technology as it was unfolding and emerging, and then create prowess and understanding and start selling that as a service as an agency. So to really paint the picture in the dark ages, you could also send your email newsletters through the e-commerce platforms. There was no HTTPS, it was the Wild West. So getting into what is SEO, the organic aspect of discoverability, understanding what brands needed even then and also now, SEM, so the paid aspect of that, social media, and really now getting into discoverability, agentic commerce, and what brands need to be competitive in from a preparation perspective.
Yeah, so much has happened in 20 years, and now every month feels like a year, like in terms of things that are happening. So yeah, it's moving really fast. So let's go back a little bit further, like maybe high school. Like, was this a path? Was there a defining moment that set you on this course? Were there jobs that you had in high school? Were there ambitions that aligned with what you ended up doing, or was it completely different?
This career didn't really exist back then. So uh I was in PR and really put myself through school working, restaurants, whatnot. So but I did PR for Weber Shandwick Worldwide and Kodak, Microsoft, Dolby, Hewlett Packard. And it was really interesting to start to understand how to position brands really for the best end result in any outcome. So that was what I gained, and what I really studied was that like PR, but also a lot about marketing. And it's kind of like at this point, it's again like a culmination of all of that, plus my love of design and analytics and just bringing it all together.
Good. So you said you worked at Ralph Lauren. So is that in the retail side or the corporate side?
So Ralph Lauren, when you're a fresh college graduate, you're going to go into the stores, you're going to push polos, you're going to fold
Yeah.
sweaters. There's no out of that. So I was like, I'm going to be a retail associate. I'll be the best retail associate I can be. So I worked at back then what was called Polo Sport, which is now looks more like the mansion across the street. So I worked there for a year, and in that time with no book, if you will, no client book, I became a top 40 salesperson, sold $1 million, just kind of hit the ground running and took care of
Wow.
customers.
Fantastic. I mean, talk about a great battlefield to learn from, right?
Yeah. And just as far as brand through and through and through, it's like a incredible baptism by fire working there, because the level of attention to detail at Ralph Lauren, it's like brand is everything. So there's no second or third. It's like we hybridize now in what we do for performance. This is what needs to be on brand, but we need to bring in these aspects for you to be successful. But really back then it was pure brand. It was, is it upholding brand? Yes or no?
So you went from this in-store experience that was just, so especially with Ralph Lauren, just like this experience that you can't replicate online, to now very much in the e-commerce space where you've kind of eliminated the going into a physical location to touch and feel and try on things. What's that been like?
It's been a journey. And the best thing about it is that with AI and what we're doing from an AI preparedness perspective, brands are more receptive to it than ever. So not to get too into the weeds, but you have to feed the beast with AI. If you can't just expect it to see a picture of your product and know exactly what it is as a certain level of cognition. But we really step it back to help our brands understand how do the different, not just even ChatGPT, but what do all of them see and perceive in your brand. And then we help to create a roadmap around, these are the things that you need to do from a brand reputation management perspective, which I've been preaching reputation management for a gazillion years. But what do you need to do in that regard? What do you need to do from a data perspective in like how your products or the product information is structured and what details you're sharing? And the great thing with that is we create an action plan, and then we bring our brands along so that they understand, yes, we have this initiative to do this thing, and it might look like work, but what it is it is elevating you, and it's positioning you for more success. So with what we do with our clients is we step back and we go back into each AI and we ask, how do you view this brand? Like, and how do you view the most competitive brands in their space? And then again, yet another question, what would you, in asking each specific AI, what would you say the most compelling aspects are for this brand to make them more successful? And then Google also has its own AI, which is Gemini, and going in not just from, Gemini perspective, but looking at Google shopping results and say, what aspects, what bullet points, what attributes are being broken out here. And then we create a consolidated action plan that's going to create an uplift across so many different aspects. So when we start building out these data points, and like the geek out, I'm getting chills. I love this so much. Is that we're then saying, okay, great. Now what we're doing with that data is we're able to use it in your on-site search. So we're able to like have filters where you just were not guiding the customer through their purchase journey previously. We're able to create descriptions for the product with an approach that builds in a bespoke AI agent. So we're creating this AI agent that can digest and create these on brand descriptions that are optimized for performance. and that have guardrails. So don't say this, don't say this, say this. Here's your inspiration. Here's your brand voice. It helps with their paid search results. It helps with discoverability and generative and conversational AIs. And then like with Shopify's announcement with ChatGPT, this agentic commerce. So there's so much to it. We've submitted all of our brands in advance for that are on Shopify and just to ensure that they're ahead of the curve. But really it's that whole holistic view that's really fun to share.
Yeah, no, that was great. You answered like my next three questions all in that segment. So I have to catch up now. But I think you guys have talked a lot about Shopify. You're not limited to clients that are on Shopify, right?
We're
Are
not,
you kind of agnostic
we're
when it
pretty
comes to
agnostic.
yeah.
We have a few that we utilize more regularly. So Shopify, BigCommerce, also Shopware for our B2B and kind of more restricted industries. They just have certain abilities that preclude the other two in that regard. So we do have other options that we work with, and that's just from a design and development perspective, but we can market anybody on any platform.
And that's something that I think really sets Atelier apart. There's a lot of brands or there's a lot of agencies that only work with a certain suite of partners and products. And we really believe that it's, what is the right solution for your brand and direct people into that. Something that we've talked a lot about on this podcast is AI. And what I like about what Michael's talking about is that he's used this term a lot, AI readiness. And it's when we talk about I think a lot of people aren't really realizing that it's going to start giving you the recommendations for purchasing and gifting and all these things, right? And so that really is going to change how we make purchases, and it will be more of a personalized experience. I think when you go on ChatGPT and it knows all of your life's secrets because we put it in there and then we're like, hey, I'm looking for a product that will meet this need, and it's going to know exactly your inner desires and have a more personalized solution than just going into Google and then really seeing who is paying the most for that position. So you've talked about it, Michael, this AI readiness, but what can brands do today, or what should they be doing to prepare for the future with AI?
Couple of things there is we prepare them for as many as we can. And this is such a rapidly changing space that we set the intention, expectation. This is what the best recommendation is now from all the research and whatnot to get you along, moved along the way. But it will continue to change and evolve. Each of these will more than likely have a paid aspect too. So as an agency that runs not just design and development, not just actually like our catalog management and optimization plan or service, but there will be a paid aspect to each of these generative and conversational aspects as well. And there's a there was a level of certainty that organic SEO wanted previously, and we've always kind of pushed our clients and led our clients and done everything we could to get them to that highest level in organic. But from where I'm sitting and what I'm seeing is that the AIs want a higher level of certainty in their results. So this gets back to which I mentioned earlier, this brand reputation. If you go into any of them and say, like, how do you view my brand? You might see some things. Well, you're probably going to see a couple things you don't like, but as far as like pissed off consumer or these different websites where you have salty customers go when they don't have the best experience. So it is digging in overall. It's not just your product data. It's not just your descriptions. It's also just looking at your brand in a more global view or more holistic view to provide the best data points to inform the AIs.
Yeah, I think the user-generated content and the reviews are playing a significant role in what AI likes to reference. So I think that it's going to become, I mean, those are obviously really important in the first place, just from a consumer doing their own research. But now when you take into account that AI is going to be crawling that and referencing that to provide answers, it becomes just that much more important.
Review platforms are critical as well. And, just the reputation, what it is pulling from, I think is really interesting. I think it's also Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, and the entire internet of what people are saying.
You mentioned a few brands in the beginning, some pretty impressive names there. Um, do you have any recent case studies or success stories that you'd like to talk about?
We have a really fun one recently. Well, a couple of fun ones. UTV Source, which is a pretty incredible off-road, like aftermarket auto part retailer, which is you wouldn't expect it to be a space that we do well in, but it's details and personalization. So we launched their new site right before BFCM last year, got started them on a really nice uplift versus the year prior. Then we layered in with Nosto search and personalization in May. And since then, we've been seeing a pretty significant, like 30 to 40% increase over the prior year. So, working with the right partners, having the right team that is able to help us envision these or actualize these results is incredible. We had another one, Moonglow, we launched just a week ago, about a week ago, and slowest site we'd ever worked on. And our team gave some suggestions on some look and feel colors for email and SMS marketing. And they actually said no initially. And then, oh, wait, we're going to rebrand our whole company based on the suggestion. And so that was pretty incredible. Initially, they came to us for email and SMS. And they said, well, we love working with you guys and you're doing a great job. Could you also help us with our paid media? And so we took that on as well, and we've been closing the gap between the performance they were receiving previously and really a path to where we're seeing them transcend where they were sitting before. So they were down from last year, double digits, but every month we've closed that gap by, 25, 30% to where we're now seeing them step into like a true success, and that's that full court press. So we launched their site in kind of a record timeline of 10 weeks. We could have, I said, in good conscience.
Let's just pause on that. 10 weeks for an e-commerce site. I've worked with agencies before, and it was like a year and a half, 6 months. I mean, 6 months is usually a fast turnaround. 10 weeks is like, I just want to toot the horn there. That is insane, literally insane.
Yeah, that was insane. It was, our client truly was in need, and so we moved heaven and earth to make it happen. So when they said, could you help us with paid, I was like, hey, we would love to. We can do certain things, but your current experience isn't converting. So we're going to work with you here, give you a really sweet deal on this. So it allows us to stay sticky with the client. The client is now cash flow positive, which is something we obviously love. And something we're really proud of, the site is lightning fast versus it was 33-second page load before. Now you go on GT metrics, it's A's across the board. And so our team is just wonderful. They hit it out of the park. So, but yeah, I still couldn't believe we got it turned around in 10 weeks myself, especially getting all our punch list completed within 18 hours. And so yeah, it's fun. I'm really proud of our team, and it's fun to do things like these. It's because we have this incredible team backing us.
Absolutely. No, congratulations. That's great. So now on the flip side, any learning moments, not necessarily a failure, but something that didn't work the way that you had anticipated and you had to recover from it somehow. Any examples there that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah, well, I would say this is one where I'll give Danielle some props. So we're the only one. Not kidding. I love her to death. She's awesome. That's a base level appreciation. So in the past, really, like we're both givers, and our team is too. But really, in the past, what I've done is just giving until we were in deficit. So like the client ask, and not having clear expectations around what our swim lane is and what's going to be a healthy boundary. And so Danielle's been really helpful establishing these healthier boundaries with our clients so that we can deliver and, we're still successful as well. Because if you just keep giving, then, there's no bottom. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Managing those expectations, understanding your limitations, your capacity in terms of your team's capabilities and what they can deliver. Absolutely. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way, and I think a lot of smaller agencies, they don't want to say no, right? They want to grow, they want to learn, they want to do the work, and sometimes you learn and you get to a point where that changes. But yeah,
Michael, you have such really great experience. And for any of our listeners who would like to get into e-commerce or into marketing, what advice would you give them?
so for aspiring marketers, I'd say don't bite off too much. Establish your prowess in your specific scenario, but also make sure that you color outside the lines a little bit. So make sure you have a bit of an understanding when you're putting an email campaign together, what's that going to mean for the customer service team? If you're running paid marketing, how is this playing with the promotions for email and SMS? And is there something we can build into, paid to cross the aisle and create a more unified marketing approach? And this gets into, there are a lot of details in here, but I would say work to eliminate some silos, to ease the day-to-day for your clients. Just working with you should be a pleasure and not work.
Yes. I actually think that's like great advice from even starting an agency. I feel like I was able to really build my agency when I started by focusing on solving problems, not making more work. But you can do that as an individual contributor in any of your business in marketing and, not, well, if we do this, this is going to make all of this extra work. It's like solve the problem, come with the solution, and then propose it. That's great advice. And with that, can you talk more about the e-commerce part? Because we see this all the time where people are coming to us and like, oh, I really want to get into e-commerce. And you're like, okay, well, what experience do you have? And it's e-commerce is totally different than B2B. I've talked about, like, I think a lot of marketing hats are like, if you've done marketing in one industry, you can do it in another one. We've talked about that. But I do think, though, with e-commerce, there's so much specificity to it that you do need to know. What advice would you give to somebody who's like coming out of college or wants to pivot in their career and wants to get into e-commerce? Because you came from retail, digital. What would you do?
That's great. I would probably ask them to isolate what about the e-commerce industry is the most intriguing to them. So, are you design oriented? Are you development oriented? Do you want to solve problems and drive success from a project perspective? Beyond that, you could say, well, I really like to nuance the experience for the consumer. So maybe you're into merchandising, or it could just, I mean, there are all a million different ways that an individual can work in e-commerce, everything from just paid ad, strategy, creative, I mean, copywriting, there are endless possibilities. But I would say figure out what excites you about it and what you're passionate about as an individual first.
Actually, can you tell us what atelier means?
So Atelier is like a French clothing maker. So everything that if you were to go to an atelier to have a suit made, it would all be bespoke for you. So it would be made to measure and fit you specifically. So all of our solutions are always with an extra level of perspective to make sure that what we're creating isn't just what you're asking for, but it's the right recommendation and the right solution.
so you live in Manhattan, right?
Yes,
What's the connection to France? Did you spend time
it's
there?
not. I don't
Oh,
speak
okay.
I don't speak French. I don't speak French.
Uh-huh.
So it's just really it is kind of the original parent company was a different name, but it was named after my favorite artist, which is Yves Klein. Invented the best color blue. It's called IKB, International Klein Blue. And then I was like, well, I created that as a consulting, and then now I'm doing e-com, so I'll make an e-com brand. So eventually I just stopped doing that, and now we're just Atelier. All right.
So, Michael, one of the things we do on the LiftKit Marketing Podcast is we asked our guests to recognize and lift someone up. So, who's someone in your circle, besides Danielle, that deserves a shout out for doing some great work in marketing right now?
Well, I would definitely have to say Laura Cantor. We work with her at New York and Company, and she's also been running marketing for Lord and Taylor and multiple other brands under the parent organization she's currently at. It's kind of changed hands a few times. She's had to do a lot more with less, and she's definitely just delivered above and beyond what any reasonable expectations would be.
Michael, this has been a pleasure. I really enjoyed getting to know you. Congratulations on all the success of your agency, your experience. I think there's so much more to come for you. And you got some great people on your staff. One of my favorites is Danielle. And I wish you all the success going forward.
Well, thanks so much for having me today. It's been great to meet you, John, and to see you yet again, Danielle.
Yeah, we should probably get back to work, huh?
Yeah.
Yep, get back to work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
everybody. Have a great one.
Hello, and thanks for joining the LiftKit Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, John Hoeft, founder of LiftKit Marketing, a consultancy dedicated to supporting agencies and marketers with their digital growth strategies.
And I'm the co-host, Danielle Schermerhorn, a former agency owner and current e-commerce specialist with deep experience across both brand and agency sides of the marketing world.
Each week, we'll bring you conversations with marketing professionals who are doing great work, whether they're leading teams, building campaigns, launching products, or just figuring it out behind the scenes.
Our guests will share their personal journeys, the real stories behind their success, the challenges they faced, and the wins they're most proud of. We'll also hear what's next for them and what they see on the horizon for the industry.
At LiftKit Marketing, we believe in celebrating people, recognizing great work, and lifting up those who are making an impact. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the episode.